first of all, I would love to say big thank you to Jeanne-Marie for joining us today. It is always my biggest pleasure to have you live on Zoom or on an interview or anywhere. It's really great to be able to work with you, and I really appreciate your time and effort and everything that you do for all of us.
Well, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here and be as support as I can be to parents, to the Montessori community. It's something that I am passionate about, to, share respectful ways to interact with our children and so forth. So thank you for having me.
And first, a few words, I would like to say something about Jeanne-Marie Paynel. She's a parenting mentor. She's a home consultant. She's the host of the Art of Parenting podcast. And she's also the founder of Your Parenting Mentor. I believe, Jeanne-Marie, you are guiding parents, caregivers, parents of young children, to prepare their homes and themselves and to help their children thrive during their early years. What did I forget? Except that you are you are Montessori, former Montessori guide. You are also a positive discipline mentor.
Yes.
So tell me more.
Well, I'm a mother. I'm a parent myself. I have 2 young adults that are my children, that I'm very proud of, that I adore having done this life with so far. They're 26 and 22. One is in Scotland and one is in Spain. So they're kind of far from me, but I'm happy that they're following their path. And then more recently, I have found another way to support parents that I'm really enjoying, and that is being a birth doula. So if anybody has questions about that, I'd be happy to answer, but it's basically a labor support person. So I'm not a medical person. I'm just there to support, encourage, and be a presence, a positive presence for the birthing families. And no, you talked about Montessori, positive discipline. Montessori, I discovered kind of late in life. I had been in advertising for 20 some years before, and it radically changed my life. It changed my career path. I started my own business at the ripe age of 50. So it's been a long journey, and really loving it, and just finding that this is such valuable information to share with parents worldwide and it's why I enjoy these sessions that you put on, because I can answer, parents' questions, or even guides too, other Montessori guides, the community, and all of that is my passion. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you for sharing.
Mm-hmm.
I would also like to say at the beginning that Jeanne-Marie has filmed or made a whole masterclass on positive discipline in our Montessori Beginnings course. So if anyone wants to know more or dive deeper into the topic, this is also one of the options, and I will share the links in the chat a little bit later. So that's also one thing that I have forgotten to mention. And and I guess maybe we can jump right into the questions.
Yes.
So guys, if you have any questions, please share them in the chat. It will be, I guess, the easiest way.
Or if you want to unmute yourself and
yes.
show up on camera, this is a safe community. So please, if you have any questions, I know a lot of questions came in. Lucy shared with them with me earlier, but if you're here, you're live, and you've got a question, please don't be shy. That's what we're here for.
Yes. And I will start. with one question that arrived to kick this off. The question was, what is the main difference between the age groups of 0 to 3 and 3 to 6 when it comes to discipline, or when it comes, to social emotional development?
Okay. Great question. And 0 to 3 and 3 to 6 are actually in Montessori 2 different courses. And it's interesting because I was just talking the other day to actually my co-author. I authored a book that is in French and Spanish about the 100 golden rules of the Montessori method. And I was telling her how I had done my 3 to 6 training, and then I went back to do 0 to 3 because I felt like there was a piece of the puzzle that was missing when I welcome young children in the classroom. And so Montessori wise, I wish that we had a training that was just 0 to 6. So, but on a discipline part, and this is why I talk about Montessori, because Montessori also explained to us the planes of development and the idea of the absorbent mind, and how 0 to 3, our children are in a stage of unconscious learning, right? They are guided by a life force that is just so powerful that sometimes it's like, whoa, let's just get out of the way, let them, explore and so forth. And then 3 to 6, they become a bit more conscious of what is going on. They even look at us differently. Like they suddenly realize like, oh, wow, there's another human there, right? They become conscious. So in discipline, to me, this plays an important role because 0 to 3, there's not really much that you can do other than simply model, like model the way that you hope your children will interact with other human beings, with themselves and so forth. So really be aware that they are absorbing everything, every little detail, the good, the bad, the ugly, and that it is important for us to be on our best behavior, right? Because they're observing that and absorbing that. And so discipline wise, I think it's really just important to redirect, to let them know what they can do. I think we tend to always be in this stage where we're always telling our children what they cannot do. So I really, for me, it's a mindset shift, or really changing our language as to what they can do, really giving them the opportunity of knowing what is possible for them. And so that will really help for the 0 to 3 and even beyond. Now, when we get into that second part of the first plane, so still the absorbent mind, but here we have this conscious learner, we're able to rationalize a little bit more. So we're able to maybe explain, even though I will say, limit your explanations, because we tend to go into lecture mode and they tune us off right away. So keep it simple, but let them know, maybe the reason why, a certain behavior is not the most appropriate and such. But again, stay in the positive, stay in the letting them know what is possible, what is expected of them, what is it that they can do, as opposed to always negating and telling them what they cannot do.
Laia, your hand is up. I will ask to unmute, if you can unmute and you can share your question.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm having a hard time with my 1.5-year-old. He's very active. He's just suddenly started, I guess, not listening, and I start losing myself. We have like a gate on our porch, and he started going underneath there and running out to the street, and he knows that I don't like it, and I get really upset when he does that, and he's just been doing that constantly the last few days. And he's been doing things like that, like sort of pushing my buttons. And I know you're saying to redirect, but also if there isn't what to redirect, like he just can't go to the road. And I don't know. I would love to know what you have to say on that, because this is not the only experience. I notice myself losing myself a lot, and sometimes I sort of want to go and take a minute, but then he gets insulted because he thinks like, oh, she's leaving me because she's upset, and it's just a lot for me.
Yeah. Great question. And I think this will help a lot. You know, a lot of times what is most personal is most universal. Like, you are not alone feeling this, right? An 18-month-old, their job is to push your buttons. So he's doing his job. He's doing a great job, right? Now it's about how are we, and this is where I think the art of observation is really very important, right? Is to observe what it is that he is doing, what is that he is trying to do. Also observe the environment that you have created, and then observe yourself. Like, what this is very triggering, because you're a mother that wants to keep their child safe, and you know that the road is not safe, and so forth. So here again, you know, as I just shared, he is still in this very kind of unconscious, you know, state of development. So the danger of the road means nothing to him, right? So it's really our role to keep them safe. So here I would maybe look at the environment. Is there something that you can do in that environment to make this gate safe? Or is it that you temporarily close the door, or, you know, not have access to this gate? So, you know, I'm not physically there, I can't tell, but this is for you to kind of sit down, maybe sit on the floor in that space, and just think of like, what is it that I could do to make it safer so he can still explore, but not put himself in danger and just, you know, trigger me. So that to me is really important. But knowing that at 18 months, this is a period in life that is so important in kind of creating one's identity, right? They are finally kind of coming to terms with the fact that they are a full-fledged individual, and that they can actually make choices, and that they can actually say no. And this is very hard for us, the parents, right? Because beforehand, they just went along with everything we said. And here suddenly they're kind of developing their personality. So here it is very important for you to validate what it is he's trying to do. So I know you really want to go out into the street, and my job is to keep you safe. I cannot let you go out in the street by yourself, but we can go on a walk later on. So again, you're just validating the experience that he is trying to have, all at the same time keeping him safe. The other thing that you mentioned is wanting to take like a little time away. Do not like let yourself be, you know, and I'm not saying that you are, but like, you know, an 18-month-old guilt tripping you because they're upset. Like, you've got to take care of yourself. So if you need to step away for a few minutes and he is safe, do it, right? He will understand. Like, you can let him know, mommy just needs to take a breath on her own. I need to go sit down, or I need to go get a glass of water. Like, don't, you know, do what you need to do, I think is very important. Because this, again, as I was saying earlier, we are modeling to them what it is to take care of ourselves, what it is to have some sort of self-regulation, because he will need those tools later on when he is upset to be able to self-regulate and soothe himself. So you need to model that as well. I hope that answered all your questions. Did it?
Yeah, it really did. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're very welcome.
Okay, another question. I will read one question, and then we will see if and then I will go to Priya.
Okay.
One question from Esther. I foster a 5-year-old girl with a dysfunctional past of both parents being drug users. She has been with us 15 months and still lies most of the time. soils her underwear most of the days, despite having her own bathroom, and tries to defy authority. Please help with discipline ideas.
Wow, that's a, first of all, I have to commend you for opening your heart and your home to a foster child. I think it is commendable, and especially with children who have had such a hard past and who are traumatized and so forth. So I think here it's really about gaining her trust and really letting her know that, you know, she is safe, that she, and so forth, because it sounds to me like, you know, for the first 5 years of her existence, she has felt that she was in danger. She's, you know, constantly been in situations that have not been healthy for her. So to establish this trust where she can kind of let go of her armor that is, you know, unconsciously protecting her is really, really important. So trying to be as, you know, loving and kind, which I'm sure you already are being, just, you know, by the fact of opening your home and so forth. Like emphasizing every day, every moment of the day that you are in a safe place, that, you know, I know that you're trying hard and so forth. The fact that, you know, you say she is lying and so forth, this is probably just a way of protecting herself. So I think being 5, if she's able to communicate, is really, you know, for me, going out in nature a lot, like really grounding ourselves in nature is so important. So if you can, to go out in the forest, even walk barefoot if you can, if the weather permits and so forth, like that Mother Earth energy is so important to us, and especially to our children. And then just go on nature walks and just talk, so that you're talking in parallel, you're telling stories, you're trying to get her to find solutions also to the different situations that she has been in, and helping her at home. And that's all I can say. I'm not an expert in kind of these, you know, to me, they're like post-traumatic situations that are very difficult. But to me, it's really about really honing in on her having your trust so that you can move forward. And I hope that helps.